Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just two spoon you ain't know. If the children crying for starvation, just two spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, two spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morocco, two spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just two spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, two spoon. Two spoon. Two spoon. You from Fonjema, Maryland, two spoon. Two spoon. If you eat kepan, gradually, my brother, two spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, two spoon. Two spoon. You wanna get a news update, two spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, man, you back today. Spoon TV. Spoon. Yes, man, you back today. Spoon TV. Spoon. Bada 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 bada. Spoon. Skibidi bidi da bado.
Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just two spoon you ain't know. If the children crying for starvation, just two spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, two spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morocco, two spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just two spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, two spoon. Two spoon. Two spoon. You from Fonjema, Maryland, two spoon. Two spoon. If you eat kepan, gradually, my brother, two spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, two spoon. Two spoon. You wanna get a news update, two spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 Klibamba, klibamba, klibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today? Yes, what you got today? Beseku. Bada. Skibidi dabado.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEOs, Dan coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. To spoon. You from Fonjema, Maryland, to spoon. To spoon. If you eat kepa, gradually, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. To spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today? Yes, what you got today? Beseku. Bada. Skibidi dabado.
Okay, folks, We want to say welcome again. Thanks for joining us tonight. Many thanks to all of you across the world. It's a great way to welcome you to another edition of the program. This is the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon. I want to welcome our ardent followers across Radio Land, Spoon FM 107.5, Fabric 101.1, Super 95.5 FM. Many thanks to the folks joining us as well on YouTube, Spoon Talk Live, the YouTube handle. I want to welcome everyone. Thanks to the folks joining us in the comment section, making a contribution. I see Moses Momolu, Hipko Kazi, Jonathan Pratt. I see Freeman. I see Emmanuel Colley from Margibi County, Alice Ban, Sac Nation, Rafael Dolo, Eric McGill. Hey, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. It's a great way to welcome you. I'm going to bring on the rest of the team. It's going to be a great conversation tonight. I'm Nelson Colette, and we sincerely apologize that last evening we couldn't bring you the late night show. It was due to some issues. Yes, and it's a great thing that we're here tonight to get another edition of the program coming for you. Again, I want to welcome everyone. Let me go across now to bring on the team. Uh, Moba Zoke, our co-moderator. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to have you on, Moba. You are
Thank you.
mute.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Nestle, and thank you to all our listeners and followers, Radio Land, Facebook, YouTube, and other. Wherever you are watching us from, we appreciate your time and effort.
Yeah. So, let me go across the table and bring Josh. Mr. George Widow. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's good to have you on.
Thank you, Nelson and Malva, for having me here. It's a privilege. Thank you.
You know, interestingly, Moba is coming with a mob tonight. He's drinking tea. Is it a tea, some coffee, or stuff like that?
T,
I
my
think
man.
it's a new beginning for Moba. This is the first time Moba is usually coming on the show with cup, and then he will say he's drinking juice. But tonight he ain't drinking juice. He's drinking something hot, a hot tea.
Exactly.
You know, but it's a great thing that we're here, and I
It
want to
is,
welcome
man.
everyone. Let's have a great show. Usually when the set is not jammed, the show goes on quietly, like we did a couple of nights ago. And I'm asking all of our folks out there to kindly share the program. Please share the show as you join in tonight. Share the show across your different platforms. And let's hope we can have a great conversation tonight. Just before we do our opening, want to I want us to go to the comment section. George, you can pick a few. You can recognize a few of the folks in the comment section.
Okay, look, usually people complain, so I'll start all the way from the top. I see Hashim Pambule. He said,
Everybody will
good
be there
evening,
front.
Nelson Kule. Yeah, I see Mia, Zina, Mason. I say hello, family, and I see Jerry Gatawe. Getawe, yeah. He said, good morning, Nelson Kule. I'm watching from Red Hill Field, Virginia. Is that in Liberia or no? And I see Eric
Yeah,
Virginia.
McGill. Okay.
right here,
Eric
right
McGill.
here.
Oh, okay, good. Eric McGill, he said, Kule, what's up, brother? And I see Ramphel Dolo. He said, good morning. I'm following you live from child-friendly community, Gompa City, Nima County. And I think this person is called Sac Nation. Sac Nation, he say, hello, Spoon Talk family. I'm watching from Brownsville. Alice Band. I see Emmanuel S. Colley. I see Freeman. I see Jonathan Pratt. I see Hipko Kasi. I see Moses Momolu. And I see Tafa H. Doya. and
You
Leroy.
call my she got here.
Auma can't say another. Yeah, that Auma can get brought out. I see Leroy, Homeboy, Quia. I see Christiana Riley. I see Marcia Snelly. I see Golden Trust Group Co. I found I see it's a greetings to y'all from Pittsburgh, Sweden. I see Siapo Amos Boto. I see Prince Julie. I see Noosh Noosh, Sweden. And Mike Wisef Brown, Mark Arthur. And look, Mr. Zokia, you can help me out now from there.
Let me see. Joe and Timway, Mark Attor, Mark Wisses Brown. Oh, yeah, I think I got it, my brother. What's up, brother? How you doing? Thank you for following the show, my brother. My brother Mark Brown, and my brother Zoe, Salif, Erin X, Fala, Arvin Momo. I think so far that's it. Let me see who I miss. Nush. Okay, I think Prince, Joel, Joel, Sipo Amos, Bento, Gordon, Gordon on the Tusa Group C co-founder. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
far.
Golden Trust Group.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think about it, calling all of
thank
them.
you. Anthony, I want to welcome you. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Yes, sir. I was loaded yesterday at the minute. They try to remember all about send messages. That's it. Don't come on. They were the mail loaded.
No, no, actually, last evening I had to rush. I even called I mean, looking up to see if we could do something, to have them, you know, moderate things. But again, they don't have the controls to some extent. Then it becomes a problem.
Probably, yeah.
But one of our our colleagues, as most of you may be aware, Trojan, uh, he passed.
Oh,
Trojan passed, and then Trojan,
yeah.
he worked with
He's a
us
reporter
before.
with Spoon, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a reporter on Spoon,
Oh,
and
wow,
then
man. Yeah, man. Just happy.
last evening was the wake keeping, and then today we had to go for the funeral. It was a very tough one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
my man. Yeah, I have my
we
sympathy,
had
my man. And my sympathy to the
yeah
family.
we had to drag ourselves to be here tonight because this is something we've all committed ourselves. So I appreciate everyone. Okay, I think there's a few seconds video here of Trojan. Let me see if I
A
can
lot
bring
of
this
things
on.
happening in Liberia as usual. One of them people, a lot of
So that
a lot
was
of
just
things happening in Liberia as usual. One of them people, a lot of things happening in Liberia as usual. One of them people are not talking about is this communication, if you may, written by President George Weah to the legislature. Remember the issue about.
okay.
I know him by
So
canceling me. I got through up a little bit when you said children, but I know him by canceling me.
Yeah, Trojan,
yeah,
Trojan Kazulu. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So today was the funeral, and you know that is that. But other than that, we're here, and let's hope we can have a great show today. And we want to welcome everyone joining us across the world tonight. Um, we can now go ahead and do our opening. Usually Saturday is a cool day. So let's start the show by doing our opening. We're gonna start with Anthony and then go across.
Well, but that's it. I think Moba needs some backup tonight. Moba, go send all of your messages that you can for
But
backup tonight.
no,
Tonight, I'm adding
you
into
gotta
that. I'm
listen.
starting something new on this platform that I've never done before. And going forward, this is the new persona you're gonna see me having on this platform. On this platform, I'm gonna be very forthcoming, straightforward, holding the government feet to the fire.
My patience has ran out. I'm no longer going to hold back. And every time I come on here, will be policy related issues. Nothing personal to any politician, nothing personal to any government official. If anything I say about a politician here, if it's not based on their performances on the job, hold me fully accountable. It is not my job to attack anybody, family member, void of politics. But for too long, our nation have been left behind. Our politicians have been very wicked to the people. They have accustomed to keeping the people poor, making them perpetual beggar for their remaining years as they live in Liberia. Many of our friends, and I think Sandy alluded to that a week ago. We all grew up together. Some of us, we were in refugee camp today. Today, when you see them, they look so old, so pale, so bad off because of poverty, because of hardship, because of no opportunity. It is so sad. We are not the only country that experienced war. We are not the only country that went through hardship. Rwanda went through war, and today their country is booming. Sierra Leone right next to us. They may not be 100%, but they are way better than us. We can do better. And part of our problem has to do with our leaders, from the executive mansion to the Capitol Hill to the judicial branch of government and all other government officials. They are just wicked. Very few of them try to do good work. I saw a video today where many young folks, promising young folks coming out of a ghetto, and it broke my heart. Going forward, that will be my position, holding our government official feet to the fire.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks a lot for your opening. Josh, and let me say this, Anthony, from the day you from the first day you appeared on the platform, you are a disruptor. You are going to be a disruptor.
Forever.
And then
Swear you.
since that time, you've portrayed that particular attribute, and now that oh
Nothing
sorry
you
I
meet
got
yourself.
You're muted. You're muted.
so now that you're making an official announcement with respect to a new persona you're about to take on, we look forward to seeing how that goes, how that's going to play out. But again, it's a great thing to have you on. Raymond, welcome to the show. Let me welcome our brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me welcome our brother we've not seen for some time now, Charles Gonga. It- Charles, welcome to the show as well. So,
Welcome, Charles.
Josh, you can do your opening, and then
Yeah,
we'll
thank you,
take over.
Nelson. Look, it's a pleasure to be here again, and I think Anthony started on the right path because even though I support the CDC, uh, I've always been a proponent of a better Liberia, and so I will continue to push that. And from my assessment of the 7 months that this government has stayed in power, I've come to realize that everything the promised Liberian people were just a lie. And it's just like the scenario where you find this fine girl who is dating this ugly guy, and you'd be like, what the hell is this girl doing with this guy? And then you try to make all the promises you can to her, and then she finally accepts and leaves this ugly guy and comes to you, and you got no clue, nothing whatsoever to do with this young lady, and you're destroying her life in the process. So this is what we find ourselves in now. For 7 months now, we've seen nothing happen. The only thing we're saying is that the people that used to ride the big cars in Monrovia, they have changed. New people, new sheriffs in town riding the same car, but nothing affects the people on the ground. It's ridiculous. And we need to call them out because I feel that President Bouaka got no clue. President Bouaka just sits down and talks whatever he wants to talk, anything that comes to his mind. Like when you sit down in front of your grandpa to talk, they tell you all the old stories how Liberia used to be sweet, and they used to take out their clothes when they come from paying from Lamco, and they can go and buy new clothes and throw the old one down and walk around and marry, make, and sleep in the street. Nothing harm them. This is the president we have. He's from all the way back in history, and until he can prove himself that he has reformed, we continue to believe that he has no plan for this country, and it's about time that if he cannot make it, let him just leave it. because there are a lot of young people
But
who
George,
want a better future.
someone may just be asking the question as to how long has this president? It's just been 6 months. The 22nd of August is going to make this government 7 months in power with a mandate of 6 years.
I mean, that's
Uh,
increasing.
it's the very start. We are at the very start of the administration, and there are possibilities that a lot could happen, as we go on. But again, we respect your position, your opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you
but
very much.
let me just finish my
Uh,
statement. No, Nelson, we I understand what you're saying, and look, I for one, I would rather wish that President Baga, achieves his whatever goal he has for Liberia, and that Liberia become better. But what we're saying, we saw police booths being how they call it, installed, that cost $35,000. Now they're gone. They're off the streets. They talk about buses. The buses are going back to Ghana. They talk about yellow machine. Yellow machine going again in the breeze. Nelson, what? No, when the Christmas will be good, we can see the Eve.
okay, so we're
This
gonna come
Eve
back.
doesn't look good at all whatsoever.
We're gonna come back. A lot to
Yeah,
talk about tonight. I don't want you to go deep into some of the things we want to have a conversation around. But thank you. Baba, you want to do your opinion, then I'll
Yeah,
take the.
yeah. Thank you, Nelson, and thank you to my fellow panelists, and thank you to our listeners on radio, YouTube, Facebook, and whatsoever, whichever you're watching us from. Next thing I know, I'll go to politic issue, but let me just what on my mind right now is a lot of land disputes in the country. I think the government need to stand up. Uh, to make sure everybody who because look, next thing you get one person selling land to two, three people, and you're selling 1 lakh of land to two, three people, and one person goes start building, you see the other person coming, you see other people, and it keeps happening in the entire country, more especially in Maserado. Today I watched a video about Mount Gibby too. It's not easy there. People chasing people, selling people land, people going there, running after people with colleges and stuff. I think the government needs some order when it comes to land dispute in the country. They need to come in, although it's not easy to that settle when it comes to land issue. But I think the government need to get a team, a task force that will look into the land disputes. Like that, a lot of people, because nursing, look, more especially when you go, where it happening around Brother area. I don't know about it, but around the Corwell Bell, Mount Gibby, Lower Mount Gibby, other places, it happening there. People just selling people land to two, three peoples, and then people, when people start building, and you see other people will come and bring up a fight and other things. And it is, nothing. It's not good because number one, we're talking about building our nation. You cannot build your nation where you see other people trying to, maybe trying to develop this. Other people come in and say, "This is my property. I allow it be," and I hope let's see that for. I mean, that's be static for maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years just there because nobody can go there due to multiple buyers and one seller. So I think the government needs to look into this. It is real. It getting all the time. People talking to people go on radio, people calling, but the government not taking no from any Johnson certain region up to now. The government is not looking into these things, and they got to look into it because it is risky and it is wrong. A lot of people losing their lives. A lot of people get hurt, and it just go under the carpet. Nothing comes from it, and they lose their lives, lose their property. I think the government need to stand up to make sure land. I don't know which ministry. I think that lands and mines or whatsoever. They need to come in. I think do something with the with land disputes. Thank you, Nelson.
Baba is on LLA, Liberian Land Authority. It used to be on the lands and mine.
Yeah, but it's getting really, really.
Yeah. So Raymond, and then we take Charles.
Moreover, the government have done a lot about this. And I hope one day we can have a time to discuss it. I was part and parcel of these processes that I've led. And my brother just mentioned the Liberian Land Authority. It's because of all of this the government came. We got land reform, land rights laws in our country. But the Liberian people themselves need to be educated. And the government can only be as good as the people. The government can do some good things if the Liberian people do not comply with the government. The government can be every land in Liberia enforcing everything until the Liberian people who the government works for got to work with the government. And that's a part and parcel of corruption that crippling our country. The Liberian people themselves are corrupt, are corruption taking place. When an individual choose to sell a land that does not even belong to them, when an individual buy a land without investigating, all that land everywhere in the world, people go through certain people to buy certain property. So Liberia have to do a lot to come with that. But let me leave that. Look, Liberian people, this government, as some people would like you to believe, is failing you so much in 7 months. Honestly, my brother made it clear this government sitting in authority is about 6 months, going to 7 months. But what the government needs to work and deliver for you is something called a budget. And for the government, this executive to have a budget, it entails everybody you elected in the House of Representatives to concord with this government. It took about 5 months. The people that you elected in the House of Representatives, amongst them, a lot of seditions. The government did not have the tools to work with to deliver the goods. But let me share something with you. And please remember this: Rome wasn't built overnight. I'm not saying this to protect any government or defend any government, but this is reality. It's a common sense thing. When something spoil, it doesn't get fixed overnight. It take a while. It's easier to break down a house. You can break down a house in a day's time. You can't build a house in, easily in 6 months. Except for George Weah, who broke that record when he came in. In no time, he built for the 7 condominium. In no time, he had broken down his house on 9th Street. He was rebuilding it. In no time, his house in rehab, massive renovation was going on. In no time, all the roads around rehab was being built. A selfish kind of government. This kind of government is not a selfish kind of government. In 7 months, we don't see anything in Josiah Yuma Boaka's name. That tells you that this government is about for you. But in order to fix things, it takes a while. You have to even understand how bad the things spoil. That's one of the reasons why this government in 7 months is taking other reports, not by conducted by them, conducted by the government ahead, before them, and looking into it and calling people name. We heard Samuel Tuer name being mentioned. 6 million plus in no way disappear. Can't answer for anything. They say no that wish hunt are the kind of government. This government want to put an end to corruption. The same thing my brother talk about. Land corruption. Corruption in land matter. Liberian people are working too much in corruption business. People in government, people outside government. The government say the way it will correct it thing first
That's in Washington time.
is to stop the people that are doing the bad thing. When you stop the people that are doing the bad thing, or the stolen money, if you can put it into the good places. That's the number one thing the government doing. And with time, the good things, you know, Christmas can come every day, but Christmas can come once in a while. And when Christmas day comes, like Judgment Day, hopefully they keep our finger crossed for the government to bring us our Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Finally,
Yeah. Again, let me say thank you for having me here. To all of my fellow panelists, I want to say thank you for keeping the show going, guys. I do appreciate. Let me express my deepest condolences to the loss of our own dear brother Chogent that was laid to rest today. Um, the media institutions in Liberia are bereaved. People of Bandersville, we are bereaved, and Liberia lost a very good soul. And so, with that, to his family and all of us, I want to say, my condolence to his immediate family, most especially his son that he so dearly loved that he left behind. To the issues, there are a lot of issues in Liberia, guys. There are a lot of issues that we need to talk about. There are a lot of issues that we need to talk about. And with the way things are proceeding in Liberia, there's a saying, like my brother Ruben said, you cannot build a house You can demolish a place in one day, and you cannot build it in 6 months. And I just want to default a little bit with that statement because if I have the resources, I can build a house in even a month. And so with that, there's a regular saying in Liberia that when your Christmas will be good, you will know from the eve. So if the eve come and my parents, I'm not seeing lack of wearing Christmas clothes. I mean, at Christmas Day, probably I will just stay home. And and so with that, the reason why we all are here is to make sure the right things are done in Liberia. And looking at the trends and looking at some other lapses, there are some other issues that this government, the path this government is traveling on, I think is alarming. And I think we all need to just speak truth to power and put our government feet to fire. Chasing corruption in our country has been a tradition from past government. Corruption has been eating our democracy. Corruption has been one of our greatest enemy in Liberia. And so to fight the issue of corruption, you need to address it systematically and understand that you as a person who is putting yourself in a position to address this issue should also be corruption freed. Prosecuting those that stole from the Liberian people is a very good step. It's a very good step. But we should also understand that even though we are chasing people who already committed or who are alleged with crimes of corruption, our own territory, our own cycle, we should also be setting up precedents. We should also be setting up boundaries that these things should not happen. Because at the end of the day, you cannot be cleaning someone else's soul while you have a soul on your own feet. And so dealing with our own soul is also important in these processes. And so with that, I just want to say that overall, I personally want to believe that the government is trying to address some of these issues. Things don't just take place, most especially when it comes to government out of the blue sky. It has to be done with research. It has to be done with critical thinking skills. It has to be done with the legal backing to make sure that the proper things are done. And so I think that's the path this government is on. Even though they are on that path, there are still lapses in the government that need to be addressed. And so with that, Nelson, I want to say I wait to get the topics that we're going to be discussing tonight. And I think I can come on more to speak on the issues. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And it's a great thing again. Great points made across the panel. But I wanted to go back a little. I think it was someone who uh, stressed a point relative to that, talking about the situation with the young people in Liberia. Now, quite recently, Christopher Peters, who happens to be the um, the acting head of the LDEA, made a very important comment, and his issue was that the citizens, the people who reside in the different communities, need to start reporting. They need to start bringing to his attention officers of the LDEA who will be caught in the issues of, in possession, who will be in possession of narcotic substances or consuming the substances themselves. And he went on to say that it is unfortunate that there are some individuals in the very system that is supposed to be fighting drugs, but those individuals themselves are consumers of the particular substance. And then he called on citizens to help report those individuals and stuff like that. But again, and I go back to the point, I think it was Anthony who made that point with the young people. You know, quite recently there was a situation with the suspended heads of the institution. They had their own back and forth. One person accusing another person of doing this and that and so forth. But why all of this is going on at the level of the leadership of the LDEA, the young people of the country are being introduced to this on a daily basis. So many families in this country have lost their kids, their loved ones, husbands, wives, and you can name the rest to drug, the drug abuse and the drug situation in the country. And then when you have, in the midst of this situation, when you have the head of the institution coming up to say that citizens should help, in the fight to make sure that they report those individuals. In fact, he will suspend, he would dismiss people, some of the folks from the from the very leadership structure who are involved with this. Does this present any hope for the young people of Liberia? And we'll go back to the government in general. The issue of drugs, the proliferation of drugs in the country, is one of the things that the government in power now campaign upon religiously. If there's one thing that amongst the many things that was used as a reason why Liberians had to vote against the previous administration, it was because there was so much kush in the country. There were videos of how the young people were falling prey to this thing, and that we would have seen a change. Okay, now we are talking about 6 months, 6 months in power. This administration, 6 solid months in power. Okay, yeah, maybe the argument could be that you have up to 6 years, but we've seen 6 months. In the 6 months, talking about the fight against drugs, are there tangibles we can see at this point that gives hope to one family down there listening to us now, to a family in West Point, a family in Claratown, in Logan Town? Is there any hope, is there anything at this point that gives hope to those people that there's a better day coming with respect to the fight against drugs in the country? That those people can once again be connected or reconnected to their families. I want us to start the conversation from here, guys. And let's start with George. I see mobile is going in and out. Let me try to bring him back on. But George, let's start with you. Let's hear your take on this issue. The issue that has to do with the drug situation in the country, the fight, what this government has done so far, with the recent comment from the LDEA boss with respect to some of the very folks being involved with this. Is there any hope, given the past 6 months? Is there anything we can point out to be assured that this government is taking some serious steps towards the fight against drugs?
Yes, Nelson, thank you. Look, unlike poverty, you know, drug addiction has no bound. And it even attacks the rich people than even the poor people because you have to feed that addiction. You have to spend money to feed it. So it's something that is not only associated with certain group of people. It can affect anyone. One day your friend will say, try it, because most of the people you interviewed, Nelson, I listened to that keenly. And he said some of them will say they were in school and their friends took them campus, they said, try it. And since they tried, they got hooked. And it destroyed their entire life. They left home because they will keep stealing things from the house, and the parents will no longer be able to cope with that stealing behavior, and they will kick them out, and they will start living on the street. So it is something that is very, very much concerning for our society. And I know that this current government uses it as a campaign message. They said Finabono were bringing drugs. George Weah were bringing drugs. George Weah is not there anymore. Finabono is not there anymore. Drugs is still in the country. That tells you that you lie to come to power. And this is the concerning thing. You fool our people to get power. Now you got no clue whatsoever how to combat this thing. You're telling people to report in from the community. I thought you knew how to stop it because you took George Weah from there. Drugs will be gone out of the country. But the lies upon lies that you told the Liberian people that you could do. Now you're clueless, got nothing whatsoever to even understand how you sit in the country. It's concerning. It's ridiculous. And I had someone mention here and say when the people are lawless or when they cannot abide by the laws, even though the laws are there, it was not going to work. I thought I would really love to have heard this maybe 6 months ago or maybe a year ago. We're all blaming George Weah. Now we cannot blame the government anymore. We got to blame the people in the country to say they are not following laws or they are buying drugs. What about the mechanisms that are going to be put in place by the government to stop the drugs from getting to the people? But here we are. Everything has to be polished. Somebody got to be backing somebody, and our people perish within that spectrum. It's a shame. And this government, as I said from the beginning, this government is clueless. This government knows nothing about combating drugs addiction in the country. It's still the same, and we are going to be here for a long haul. It's a long 6 years that is going to tire us because from the onset of this thing, we know that these guys are clueless. They're asking people to report people. I thought you have to have intelligence to tell you who's selling drugs and who's not selling drugs. You're telling us to report the people. It's just ridiculous. It just tells you that President Boakai came to power by explaining some story that he heard long time ago when he was maybe in his teen age, and this is the same story he explained. And when people feel marvel, they feel bamboozled by those sort of statements, they tend to follow him, and he just leading us down the drain. And this country is heading to nowhere, and it's a shame and it's an embarrassment for us to sit here and continue to be talking about drugs when George Weah is no longer president, when Finabono is no longer there as the king. Sad.
Thank you, Josh. Anthony, I go by the queue.
Thank you, Moba. You know, our people like quickly to say, oh, it's just 6 months. Everyone that received that 6 month salary, they didn't go to work for free. But in just 6 months, government takes time. You were planning to run the country. You should have prepared yourself. The military man will not get to the battlefront and say, oh, I gotta, get myself adjusted here to the battlefront before I can start shooting. Or I gotta get myself, adjusted here before I can know how to have myself or take cover, all of that. You knew you were going to war. You knew the problem of Liberia. Liberia's problem is not Haiti. Whether or not you are working government or not, you know many of the circumstances the country faces. However, if you decide to run for the presidency of the Republic of Liberia, you should have a plan, a roadmap already. Let alone you have served in the very Liberian government for over 4 decades. You cannot come to office, your first national budget, and then you reward lawmakers who have already been taking bigger portion of the national
I thought we
budget.
were talking about drugs. We'll come to that.
Hold on.
Don't be the gun.
How
drugs.
we address drugs? That money can address drugs.
Yeah,
How do you fight drugs?
The topic, my brother. We'll come to that.
But how do you fight drugs? You will stay in the street and get raise your hand. Drug will be taken care of. So the $11.8 million that this president signed into law to give lawmaker free. Mr. President, hello, I have a news for you. That $11.8 million in just 1 year will have saved a lot of lives in drug fighting.
But again, Anthony,
Yes.
if we want to talk about, if we are going to dive in the aspect of what the government has done in 6 months, is it fair to say that the president immediately upon taking over submitted himself to doing a drug test for the
And that's
first
what I'm
time?
coming to, bro.
For the first time, the president agreed to do a drug test.
Yes.
Some of his lieutenants did their own drug test.
Okay.
He encouraged others to do same. But
Sure.
again, we want to come back to
So let me address that real quick,
the
Nelson.
aspect of the trickle down effect of that particular act or that action or whatever on what the everyday reality of the young people of Liberia who are doing drugs, the everyday reality, what their everyday reality is now as compared to what it was yesterday.
And this is what I'm laying the premise. Because here's the thing, Nelson, to attack the drugs issue in Liberia, you need three fronts. Number one, the source of the drugs. Where is this drug coming from? How do we put a stop to it? You need to control the influx of drugs first. Second, you detox the individual on drugs. You take them from the streets and put them in home and in facility to detox them. Take the drug out of the system. Number three, you rehabilitate them and put them into vocational training process so that when they leave there, they become productive citizens, become carpenter, become a missionary, become electrician, get basic hands training job, basic tech support job, basic skills to automatically have an impact in the society and start impacting the economy. If you don't do that, you will not fight drug. Taking drug tests, that's charade. The Bible says, faith without action is dead. You can
Thank you.
have faith. If you
Thank
don't
you.
apply it, it's dead.
Thank you.
The president took drug tests. How many people got off the streets? How did that drug test the president took benefit the over 100,000 youth in the street today?
But again, Anthony, just
Intoxicated.
before we move to Raymond, Anthony, just before moving to Raymond, when you hear the current head of LG is saying that citizens should get involved,
Mhm.
citizens should start to report his officers who will be in possession of narcotic substances, the illicit drugs, or consuming the substance themselves.
Mhm.
Does that present any hope for that
All
young
right,
man
all right.
in the
So
ghetto
it
right
depends
now,
how
for
you
that
say
young
it.
man, that young lady in the ghetto right now,
Mhm.
who is still hopeful,
Mhm.
who is still looking for to some level of help
Mhm.
from the authorities, the relevant authorities, to be
Mhm.
reunited with their families.
Mhm. So in fighting any crime, you always need the help of the community. You will hear the term community policing.
Mhm.
Even high level investigation, they get tips from individual. But there is a sticking point here. They should be able to protect the identities of those people who will be calling giving tips. The protection of the whistleblower is important. Soliciting whistleblower help is not a bad thing, but their protection is paramount because if I pick up the phone to call, I should be guaranteed that my identity will be protected. Because if that individual calls in and gave you a tip on a suspect, that suspect finds out, they are going after that individual. So it is a good thing that they reach out to the community, but they also have to also be professional and protect the
Thank you.
whistleblower who will tip them off because nothing intelligence always like that. My brother, he studied criminal justice. You will understand that you don't just find information easily like that. You got to trust people who trust people who trust people who trust people. But in the process of doing so, the protection of those people should be guaranteed. Because
Thank
you
you.
can't be lousy about it. You can't be reckless about it. That people like you talking about drug dealer won't play. They will eliminate you. They
Thank
will
you.
come for you and zero you.
Let's leave there, Anthony, and take Raymond. Raymond, go ahead. Let's hear you on this one.
It's quite a shame when there's a problem as Liberians, we're not finding solution.
Okay.
But we're
I found a
looking
solution.
for black brush to paint people. We become so conflicted in our understanding of the issues. We become naysayers, fault finding. There is a problem. And the idiom, Rome wasn't built in the daytime, is simply saying that any great achievement will take considerable effort, will take time, and will take people working to achieve that goal with challenges. So the issue about drugs, the word over, there is no one place in the world where the drug issue became very prevalent, and in 7 months' time it was tackled. I stand to be corrected. Anybody give me places with vast resources where money isn't the issue. Look, drug issue is a behavior issue. And anybody who understands behavior issues, that's the most difficult thing a man can deal with. Bad habits. It takes considerable time with all of the resources for a man to break away from bad habit. And something that took place in 6 years with no serious fight cannot be eliminated in 6 months. Anyone who have that as opinion or belief, they're delusional. They need to see a psychiatrist. Look, the issue with drugs and the word over. Citizens have rights and responsibility. Honor our laws. If a citizen know of any crime and do not report it, that citizen is also guilty of that crime. So it's the responsibility of every citizen in Liberia. And that's what we need to be doing on this search medium, informing our people that it takes a community to correct a problem. And what we can say about this government fight against this is the first time we're hearing the government asking everybody to join in the fight against narcotic substances in our country. That's a shift in change. For the first time, we hear that narcotic substances are being arrested at borders and people are going to court and going through the judiciary process. That's a shift. Unlike the time where we needed our partner to give us a hint of over 100 million plus, and those people walk away because nobody brought it in. It came by itself. This is a shift. For the first time that we've seen people in the ghetto where the government has created a spotlight on this thing that people like Nelson and others can go and talk to these people and even the willingness, the desire to make a change. But it's going to take efforts. And again, let me remind everybody here, it took this government 5 months to get an approved budget out of 6 months. So let's say the government got 1 month of an approved budget to work with. When the public works minister, without an approved budget, being proactive, when I work with contractors and say, look, we're not going to wait for the rains to come for our roads to be bad because we have no money to work with. Look, even though we don't have the money, but you guys can pre-finance work, can you go in the field and start working? The government, people in the government playing politics scheme and call the public works minister, say we didn't approve budget. Who gave you the right to sign contract with contractors? The same kind of politics. We're not looking for solution. We're looking for a black brush and to spoil everything and paint it black. And we say
Thank,
we love Nigeria when all of our time we do not find one solution. We only finding faults. When you that, you are
thank you.
naysayer and you're not even good for society.
Thank you. Thank you. Anthony, we're gonna come back to you, but let's take Moba and then we're gonna take Charles.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson, and thank you for the topic on the discussion. Look, when we're discussing drugs issue, right? Let it be. First of all, let understand that we from a country where our security rate is very low. We got to say it, but we got to say it again because before you come by a drugs country, you got to first thing protecting the bullocks. That's the first priority. You got to protect. You got to first protecting the bullock. Look for where the leakage is, and the people who consume it. You will go on the street today. You will tell somebody say, "Lead drugs." Okay, but where you get to rehabilitate those people? What a facility! And we see for a couple of months, A.B. Kuma and his team been working tirelessly to reduce. the consumption of drugs in our society. Let us be real. We shouldn't come here and he even said it, he alluded that, oh, you don't even have funding, even you don't have pickup. At that time, you were fighting the drugs. So it's not about politics. We shouldn't put it on like, oh, the other person. During George Weah regime, his 6 years, the drugs consumption in the country was more than now. So when we come here to discuss that, we move the past regime, but if you bring it up, then we'll come and tell you, we'll break it down for you, we'll make you understand that.
Please give us numbers, Mobile. Please give us numbers.
But man, don't interrupt me, but you're talking, everybody will million. Don't interrupt me, I beg you.
Let's give Mobile his time.
Please.
He said he will not be a disruptor, but he can't even live up to his own word, but he'll critique.
Guys, let's give Mobile his time.
Nelson, my research that I make, during George Weah regime, the drugs in Liberia were more, there were more people who were consuming drugs than now. I gotta tell you, number. I gotta tell you if it was 80%, 100%. But
what type of research you did? What type of research?
No, guys.
If the man interrupt me, or the man talk, I will interrupt him.
You're not interrupt Mobile. Mobile, go
as
ahead.
much as you speaking to the issues,
yeah.
And it'll all be safe because you guys are talking. I never open my mouth to disrupt any of because I understand.
Yeah, Mobile, go ahead. Let's
and when it comes to the drug issue, I want to be holistic. We shouldn't come here and put it on other political party. So I listen to George and everybody that putting it on the government. The government got to do this. The government got to do that. Why I go back to CDC? No one's saying that the government shouldn't fight drugs. It's not our stand. But if you want to go back with names that people who are giving drugs to people to sell for them in our country. So we don't want to go back. But all we want to tell the Liberian people is, and I listen to my brother saying that what the acting judge enforcer will come out and say people who have who probably know people who taking drugs they should make it public know. Let me tell you, on an investigation, the police, even the investigator team does not have they get no idea what happened in the community. You know how they get information? They get information through the citizen to relax on and do investigation. So shouldn't come here and say, oh, because the man say people must be even in the community bring out. I know when they see things going on, they must come out and say so people taking drugs. No, they're not going to arrest them. It's a whistleblower. People in the community need to be vigilant. They should come out and say our social community, social thing happening that we're not in the favor. So what we need to do when you tell the DEA, the DEA will do their own investigation. Now they get a lead. Investigation, call it lead. Now they get a lead. Right now, they can do that investigation and come up and probably come out with conclusion or maybe two investigations they can be able to arrest somebody. So George, that argument is a basic argument. Don't come out with it. Every country they need a lead. They need somebody in the society to give her information so that the people can relax on to carry on that investigation. The police, the DEA, the army, they're not everywhere at the same time. They are not God. They are mortal human beings like us. So end of the day, they relax on those people. But let's go to the drug issue, Nelson. The drug issue, now we're discussing. We agree. The country right now don't have much money. And the government,
so Mama,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting you. If I'm getting you.
You're breaking, Nelson.
You're breaking, Nelson.
Thank you,
I don't know, you're asking me a question or something. I'm not understanding you.
No, not you. That me the man asking. Okay, let me be talking to him. Come out to ask because I think he
Nelson, just test me the question. Let me ask you quickly.
Yeah. So can
I ask you the question Nelson was asking you?
What the question you want to ask me?
Yeah, he said, you know, if he can understand you are saying that the CDC government have more money than this government.
I describe about money. That you see, George laughing.
No, you said the country not get money now. You said the country not get money now.
I never say George we get money or the government get money. I said, listen to me. I said when a DA boss took power, he came out on the platform, on Spoon, on all the network. He said for now, they pass no budget to support the drugs era. So what they're doing it on their own. They're trying even to get pickup. They're asking people for pickup, and people assisting them with pickup. And that's the pickup they're using to raid ghetto and other places. They passed the budget to say, oh, we get some money to fight drugs. They're doing it
Yeah,
on their own
he
pocket.
sent me another one again. He sent me another question.
I
What
think,
is-
George, you
My man, the
disrupting
man, I say
man.
your question.
Let the
Don't
man
disrupt me,
conclude.
my
We got
man.
another speaker
I
here.
beg
Let
you,
me
man.
hear.
No, we
My
don't
man, the man
have
ask the
nobody
question, but
asking
the man will
question,
come on.
George.
The
Please.
man will ask. The
We
man
got
will
another
ask the
speaker to
question.
speak to the
Okay,
issue.
you go ahead. You go
You
ahead.
guys talk. I open my mouth. You talk as much as you want to. So the matter of fact is, my main concern is I don't want people to be blaming, say, oh, the government fail on fighting drugs. It is wrong. You know, when we come here, at least I will agree with Anthony for the budget for when it comes to the financial issue that lawmaker now so get some money to enforce in. Yes, no argument when you bring up will listen to you. But when you come and say the government fail, which of course the budget has not passed yet, so that they can put it in the DA budget to say, okay, there's the money, y'all use it for the drugs enforcement.
Okay,
It's
so
wrong.
so
Yeah,
guys, I think I'm good now.
yeah, ask a
Let's
question.
Let's
no,
hear Charles, then maybe we can get our 30
yeah,
seconds
My man, I
because he
conclude
said
it.
a
Charles,
couple of things that are not true. I gotta correct that.
so I think now, Mama, let's
A
take
lot of
Charles.
misinformation flying around tonight.
My
We're
man,
gonna come. We're gonna
Nancy, can I conclude?
we're
If I
gonna-
come here, I conclude
Yeah,
the man
that's it.
interrupting
That's
me.
it.
When you
That's it.
left,
I think Nova deserves to conclude.
they may
on
not
because,
interrupting me when you left.
now Roman,
Okay,
Roman,
okay,
George
guys,
was interrupting.
let's do this, right? Let's do this, right? Mobile, you can take 30 seconds.
No problem, Nancy, no problem.
And then
And
we get Charles to come in.
yeah, let me just conclude by saying this to the Liberian people. The DA boss, what he said, he right. And he 100% right. There's no way he would sit in office and fight drugs or even say people he get tear out or he now a ghost to go everywhere at the same time. What he need to do is what he did today. By telling the Liberian people, wherever you're at, when you see something, you tell us. We will come there, we'll do our investigation. That's the lead in investigation. Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you.
You can go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, Charles, let's hear you.
All right, so I think this topic is interesting, and I just don't want to shift all of the responsibility on one government. As my colleagues were talking, I was taking down some points, and there are a few points that I want to make clear here. The first thing when it comes to drugs, I think Roma was the one who said that when it comes to drugs business started way before CDC government. Way before CDC government. So the issue about drugs is not just from CDC government. No, even during early Johnson Sirleaf days, we had drugs problem in our country. And then the issue about the drugs is something that we need to understand factors. We need to understand factors that cause this drugs issue in our country. Like Nelson said, security issue is one of the main points. But we should also understand that our country, our security strength is not as compared to other countries. Even though our security strength is not compared to other countries, we need trusted officers. That's one key point that we all not, realizing. We need trusted officers. And the reason why some of our officers, they are not trusted is because of what they take home as paid for they and their family. And so with that, they feel that when they have the opportunity to pocket money, illegal money, they will go for it because they are not taking the right pay home that will solve their family, their children issues. Those are things that we need to be looking at. And so with the issue of drugs, for me, I just don't want to shift into a particular government. But what I can say when it comes to this government, we all are aware that this government came up with the vision and the dreams of fighting and combating drugs in our country. And so with that, we need to understand those things that come with it. And there are multi-faces that approach that we need to take as people.
But
And-
Charles, I understand when you talk about the need for us to have trusted security personnel and stuff like that. And then when you talk about take home, is there any amount that an officer would take home that will be sufficient enough to get that person to be professional?
You see,
I mean, because
you see now.
if the issue about money is what we're looking at, then someone may argue that the more you get money, the more money you need.
So here's the thing.
Should we look out for people who are more professional? Should we be concentrated on the professionalism aspect, or should we take the salary aspect into consideration over the professionalism? I want us to
So
find a balance in between
so
there.
so
That's
so so the bottom line of this is this, right?
Mm.
Again, we were all on this platform talking about passion. When you have passion for a particular thing you do. In Liberia, people that goes to the security sector, some of them, they are not passionate. Their passion is not in that area. It's because there's lack of jobs, lack of affordable job that you get when out of high school. You get a job and say, okay, yes. Is a problem in our country. There are some people that are knowing abroad, there are some girls that are knowing abroad, their vision, their plan was not to even go to any security sector. Today you see them in the security sector. So when you say that's the passion, no. And the issue about take home is something that's serious. Nelson, let me tell you something. Our country, I understand professionalism needs to play in this kind of situation, but the take home pay, things that they take home to their family is important in these processes.
Thank you.
And so there are a few issues that I want to list. You didn't make me land on my thought, right? You asked me some questions.
Okay, yeah. So just
Yes.
Lane, take you.
Yeah, so there are a few issues like the acting head of the DEA said, yes, government need to take necessary actions, civil society group, individuals and stuff and things. But there are a few things too that need to be put in place. What are this government doing to eradicate this thing? There are some of these things. Strengthening law enforcement and the law, public awareness, treatment and rehabilitation centers support harm and reduction programs, address root cause. The root cause of drugs is something that you cannot just solve a problem without solving the root cause. You have to go to the root cause first. Realize, like, come out to know, okay, what happened, what it is that this drugs thing, something. We need to know the root cause, then we start to solve the problem. International cooperation too, that's another thing too that can help. International cooperation, provide alternative. After these guys have been recruited from the street and put them in the rehabilitation center.
Anthony, you distracted us. We were going to come to you, Anthony, but I think you distracted.
What
The
is
message
the
about drug, and I'm coinciding the thing that he's talking about everything on his paper.
Yeah, and what he said, what happens if you take this man from the street and take him to a rehabilitation center, and at the end of the day, he maybe run away from there. What's the next plan? What's the next strategies that is put in place? How are we addressing these things, that issues that needs to be thoroughly taken into consideration? Monetization policy. You need to monitor these things, every aspect of it. Officers are going out to rape people. Okay, yeah, we agree that the community people need to be involved. What are the safety measures put in place for whistleblower? Like my fellow panelists said, what are the safety measures? What are those procedures that they have in place to combat these things? We have not seen no awareness. In fact, they should have jingles, billboards, and other stuff in the country displaying awareness to our people. Flyers and things. Those things help. Go to marketplaces, then drop some of these flyers, these leaflets out to people. That drugs is not good. Drugs can kill you. Drugs can do this one. These things are things that the government need to start immediately, because they said this is during campaign period that, oh yes, we are coming because the country is battled with drugs. Right now, as we speak, drugs is all over in the country, and people want to say, oh yeah, it was Georgia time. No, drugs started way before any time, and enter in Georgia time. Georgia time enter in Joseph Boakai time. Joseph Boakai time now. Okay, what are we doing to solve the problem? We need to understand the root cause of it. So again, I don't want to be here to say I'm putting the responsibility on a particular government. No, not at all.
Thank
But
you.
the right thing need to be done to eradicate drugs from our country. Thank you, guys.
I think what we're going to do is to give 30 seconds across the table, and then yeah, so we can do 30 seconds across the table. But I want to bring in a video here just before we do that. Or maybe we have to. Okay, so we're gonna take Josh first since we started with Josh. We'll take Josh, and then right after him, we'll bring in this video. Josh, you can go ahead.
Look, thank you, Nelson. And look, when you don't know something, it's okay to pass on it. If you don't have any idea about a particular topic, it's okay, then to, speak out of context and say a lot of things that you don't know. I think our DEA officers have not done any research on the methodology they want to use to, to secure the borders. Look, this same thing happened in Mexico, where the government came up with a policy that said people should report drug laws. You know how many innocent people lost their life in that? People who sell drugs are very equipped. They get guns, anything they want. Somebody who can bring 100 million drugs in your country, you didn't want to buy guns? They kill innocent people because they suspected them of being the one who was spying on them. And we're talking it, and then Moluba sit here, and my man Zizi sit here, come talk about that. Look, when we say something here, we go empirical evidence to prove what we are saying. We don't just come here and can talk. The people kill innocent people, bodies in the streets for no reason, only because the people were suspecting them of being the people who were trying to report them to state security. So it's not a good policy. If they have done their research, they will know that this is a calamity. It will cause a lot of destruction to people's lives. If they bring it and say people should report people, go and do your intelligence and do what you want to do. Or even if you want to do anything else, go about and do it. We are not talking about ordinary crime to say, oh, people who can steal in there, report them. We're talking about drug law, people who get money more than even the government. And you're talking about the poor and report them. Look, Nelson, this is something that we all need to talk about and avoid of politics. We should make sure that we bring.
Josh, you are disagreeing
yes.
with the aspect where the acting head of the DEA is saying that citizens should report individuals.
Yeah.
You think citizens
Yeah.
should not be in the business of doing that because the
They
citizens
should
are
not
not
get involved.
sophisticated.
They should not get
But again,
involved.
going back to Morba's point, Morba said, from the investigative perspective, the investigators or the investigative team relies on, first of all, information tip off from the community, to be able to kickstart the investigation based on the pieces of information. You put 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and stuff like that. Gradually, you start to build up, your pieces of evidence, and then you can make a
Nelson,
decision from there. But if you are coming in to say that,
we're not talking about petty crimes. We're not talking about petty crimes. We're talking about drugs here, Nelson. Drugs is not for like people fighting petty theft in the street or pocket picker or something. No. If you got somebody who are witness, let me tell you, even the drugs law themselves, they kill each other because they feel that somebody among them is informing police. And then you want police in the midst? This is a nonsense idea, and we need to say it to their faces because it's wrong. It's going to kill our people for nothing. Because if they suspect it, they're not going to ask you, say that you're doing it. They will just kill you.
Thank you.
So it's bad. It's a bad idea.
Let's hold you there, Josh. And
okay.
we're not going to take Anthony. We'll take Morba.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. You know what my brother alluding to is Mexico. You can't compare Mexico drugs, law, or activity than Liberia. So let's stop that. Let's stop that. Mexico started drugs say in the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way coming. So we don't compare that. Liberia drugs, first of all, Mexico, I want to break it down for Nelson before I go to the topic. Mexico, they're producing drugs in Mexico. That's where they're producing the drugs. And there's a distribution center where they distribute around the world. So don't compare Mexico with Liberia. Liberia is a recipient. They receive a drug and they sell it. That's somebody in Liberia producing drugs. So that put that one side. And secondly, let me say this. Liberia, nobody get the power. Even the people who selling the drugs or who taking it for somebody to then say, oh, even before, no, we live in a digital war. I can be right here. I go on my phone, I send message to nursing. You don't know what I send, you don't know what I tell nursing. And the hala is out there. So for you to compare Mexico and trying to compare Liberia, that if anybody or whistleblower, drugs enforcement will go kill that person, you are lying to the Liberian people. Don't do that, Josh. Don't come there. Because you can't even compare the two. Liberia is not a country who are producing drugs. Liberia not producing drugs. The people bringing it from the bowler entry and all that stuff, and they're selling it. So nobody or drugs dealer in Liberia will go kill somebody because the person snitched on it. I will tell you, it's a blinking lie. And no, when for the that's at the beginning of the identical year when the DA boss was carrying on his own investigation and arresting people, he ever called him. He said people tap him, and the people that tap him today they're walking free. Nobody know that. That Liberia, I can sit right in my living room and see something feature and text to the hotline and get duty to the hotline. At the end of the day, the people will investigate our identical crime. I mean, our identical or leader I give. So you need to come here and fool the Liberian people that when you get lead, when you tell the DA that something happening, people will go after you. My people are lie. Don't listen to that. If you see something feature going in your community, tell the Liberian people, tell the police, tell the DEA, they will come in. So you need to come here and see, I see my brother Anthony shaking his head, say, oh, Anthony, do not compare Mexico and Liberia when it comes to drugs law, when it comes to drugs activity. Mexico, they plan it. It grow and they harvest it. In Liberia, they're not planning it. It's not growing, but it comes to the border. It doesn't mean that when the people that blow whistle, the people who sell the drug or taking the drug will kill them. Just stop that notion.
Okay, so thank you, Moba. I want to hold you there and let's bring Anthony in. And then
I hope I have the same time that Moba have. Moba, if you don't know that
you have 30 seconds as well. So let's hear from you, Anthony.
If you don't know, marijuana is growing in Liberia and they put chemical in it to turn it to something else. I'm sorry, Moba, because you're not aware. That doesn't mean it's not happening.
Until you can bring the video or the pictures.
My brother, I'm not here to do your homework.
But Mexico, I watch the video.
Please don't interrupt me. Please.
No, but I gotta make clarity.
Moba, keep quiet now.
Brother, we have to protect it, brother. I don't know why
another
Josh
thing here, and that's why you do. I want to speak to my brother Raymond. Raymond, come back, because 2005, 2006, the responsibility of then Vice President Joseph Newman Boaka Sr. He was providing supervisory role for the disarmament and drug rehabilitation, sir. You brag about working in government. I never worked in government. You work in alien administration. You should have known this information, sir. You also just said on this platform, on national radio, sir, that the national budget got approved by the legislature 5 months after. Hello, who presents the national budget to the legislature? It is the executive mansion responsibility to provide the national budget right on time. They were late, so the budget got approved late. Blame them. Listen, when we come here, we do not come here to play. My 2 hours is very important. I can be doing consultancy. I can be doing other things to earn money. I decided to come here to provide way forward for my nation. I don't have to be appointed in government to provide assistance to my country. I know my brother, Charles was being very, diplomatic. I don't want to blame this government. This government ran on the mantra of drugs. Kush was the song of the day. Kush, kush, kush. That they are coming to rescue Liberia and rescue the children on Kush. That was their mantra. You come to office, you trucked, you got into cahoot with lawmaker and rewarding the fattest cow by giving each lawmaker $150,000 for senator, $100,000 for representative. That money was being put towards the fighting of drugs. Folks, we did not come here to play. We come here to unearth bad behavior, corruption at its highest. You understand? Our advice the DA acting box. You want it? Create something we call anonymous line tip off. When Anthony gave call and leave a message, he cannot be traced. I can even call and put my hand to my mouth and muffle so my voice cannot be identified for my own protection. But you will get the information. You will get all of the tips. Tell the police to stop putting 911 on the police booth or on the police vehicle when that number is not functional. That deception. Look, when we want to fight drugs, we ought to be serious. Taking drug tests doesn't mean anything. You understand? Your action towards, I can challenge anyone in the last 6 months. What initiative, apart from drug tests, that this administration started, and how far have we gone? How many persons have been taken off the streets? How many persons have been detoxed? How many persons are going through rehabilitation process? And listen, Nelson, my brother Charles says it right. Look in this in my hand here. They say if you sign up to become a police officer just in Newcastle County in Delaware, they will give you 72,000 United States dollars a year, an extra 25,000 bonus plus benefits. Why wouldn't you jump on this? America never used to pay security officer this way. Since 9/11, every year they bump up the people, they bump up the bump. Right now they're begging people to wear the uniform. If you increase police officer salary and the DEA officers are all security apparatus, minimum pay to be $300 US and pay them on time. And every officer would ring $500, $550 or $600. Let me tell you something. People who are teaching in classroom will run to want to be police officer, will run to want to be DEA officer. National security matters. That's what we're playing with. We have over 100,000 people on drugs. That is a risk to our nation. And if you think this is a joke, you will find that person in your neighborhood, you will find that person in your family, and will start creeping to your children. Don't take this drug, not because today your brother is not on drug, your sister is not on drug, your cousin is not on drug, so it doesn't mean anything. Slowly but surely, our community is getting infested. And if we don't take action now, we have ourselves.
Anthony, I want to hold you there. I want to hold you there, Anthony. And this is very serious. A couple of days ago, I think a week ago, I received a call from someone in one of the communities. And the person called specifically to ask me to call the Liberia National Police to help them in that particular community. So I asked the person why, and then the person went into the details that the LDEA raided that particular community. And following the raid, the disadvantaged youth or the drug users in that particular area, about 4 or 5 ghettos in that community, they put themselves together and they said because there was a tip off from someone in that community, nobody will come outside. I mean, literally, those guys imposed a curfew on the community. Everybody went indoor, and one of the residents of the community called me, and then we had to take it off from there. But and then that brings me to the point that someone just made. I think it was Anthony or George or one of you, with respect to the protection of these people who will be providing the information. All right. Yes, we can listen to the LDA acting head, Christopher Peters. Yes, there's a need for the community to get involved. Like Moba said, yes, the involvement of the community is a cardinal one. It's something that we can underestimate. But how are they getting involved? Should we now start to ask the critical question, the tough questions, the very hard question as to what exactly is going to be the role of the very security apparatus in terms of protecting those people who will be the whistleblowers. But again, Moba, I don't want to give you time on this again. I want to bring Charles in, and I see Emmy is already here as
You
well.
come on it. I want to make clarity. But that's fine. That's fine. You know, I just want to make a clarity on an issue that you just emphasized. But Josh can go.
Okay, let me give you a few seconds. Let me give you a
Yeah,
few seconds.
yeah, that 10 seconds. I agree with you on that aspect. All we need to do is like the DA or the police, they need to make that number active, very effective. That even when the man probably somewhere struggling to get information, when he call, let them pick up and respond. So I think it would be the best it would be in the best interest of us on the panel and the listener for us to emphasize and putting the police or the DA to answer that call and respond. But for our brother to come and say the people shouldn't get information because they is wrong, nursing, we can't do that. If we want to, if even in America and nursing, people they detected they get people who learn, who get PhD when it comes to investigation. Nursing they will come here come and tell you say if we get no information from you, how you think we'll get the case done? Nursing, they will stay to their places and they only waiting for that phone call so they can start that lead on our investigation. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles, you want to go ahead?
Yes. So again, let me say this. According to sources, including United Nations and the World Health Organization, Afghanistan. I don't know. I stand to be corrected. Based on my source or sources, they are the highest producers of drugs globally. The issue about drugs in Liberia, guys, I just don't want us to. At this point, we should be discussing solutions. What are those things we can say, that will impact the fight against drugs in our country, instead of arguing and this other person default with the other person and the other person default with the other person. The problem need to be solved and solved now. It's not about tomorrow business. And so with that, like I said previously, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place by this government, since we hold them responsible to fight drugs, based on the fact that they came on the mantle of kush and drugs, and and all of these things. So at this point, the DEA and all government agency, all government officials need to work tirelessly to see how best these things can be resolved in our country. And by doing so, we need to put in honest and strategic security personnel that will go on the field to address this issue, that will go on the field to discuss the issue, that will go on the field to do raiding. Because we don't want somebody that was sent to go raid and at the end of the day, a judge did say, my man, yeah, it's 500,000. And then you take the 500,000 and forget to know that you are killing someone's child because of 500,000. We don't want security like that. The next thing government need to start the awareness process. Radio stations, newspaper, billboards, flyers, everything need to go out at this point. Rehabilitation center need to be equipped. And when I'm talking about equipped, I'm talking about physical equipment, medical equipment, and living condition have to be addressed. Because if I take somebody from the street and I put them in a facility, that facility needs to be equipped. To detox these guys, you need medication. What are the strategies? What are those plans that are put in place to fight those things? The next thing is our people, our community people. Like somebody said, the community don't need to get involved. No, it's wrong. It's wrong, because those things is not happening at Capitol building. It's not happening with Foreign Affairs Ministry. No, it's happening in Solinwe. It's happening in Duantan, I live Yanfortan. I know there are a lot of ghettos. I live Kiaba, Bannersville. There are ghettos there. Bannerville Junction, red light. Those things are happening in the various communities. And if the communities people will sit on it, you know what you're doing to yourself? Your child as the next victim. Your child is the next victim of that act. And so to eradicate that, we in the community, the government need to put a strategy or strategic number, and that number need to be anonymous. Like when I call in, that number appear anonymous. Like, oh yeah, I have this X, Y, and Z. Give you the location and stuff, and that's it. Even though it's anonymous, my safety still need to be protected. Because for me, I come from a security background, cyber security background. And so if you call me on anonymous number, I have a way I can trace it with some sophisticated software, and I will still detect who is that person and where that person is calling from. And all of those things need to be handled properly. The drugs issue in our country is not play, it's not joke, it's not something for us to be joking about here. Who knows today, tomorrow, what any of us might be directly affected? Our kids, our brothers and sisters, we have people back home. And so when we're discussing it, let us speak truth to power. Let us not discuss it on a government basis or party line. In fact, I posted something on Facebook recently about people being so personal and taking party side instead of country. And let us just forget about that and discuss the serious issues. So again, let us look for the solution instead of creating more problems or bringing up more things that will create problems for our democracy. The solution at this point, that's what we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we have to wrap it up now and take few calls. So
No, Raymond, I thought the topic.
That was the longest 30 seconds ever in the world.
Raymond ran away because I was coming for him.
No, Raymond, I thought it.
Yeah, so
That was supposed to be 30 seconds, George. Damn.
So Emmy is just coming and Emmy wants to disrupt the whole show. Emmy has hijacked.
All I did was ask a question. I heard you guys came for me the other day. All I did was ask a question.
We now welcome her officially. She's hijacking.
I beat the show.
Let's take Raymond. Raymond, go ahead. Let's hear your 30 seconds. As in 30 seconds.
I hope my 30 seconds would be more than the 5 minutes that Anthony had in your presence. Not like Charles, who was in your absence. But before then, to do justice to this conversation, you spoke about the Zogos who organized themselves and made him on the community, but you did not end the story. When you call, what did the police do? Did they intervene? And I'm interested because this is national media. I think you should end that story to give justice to the discussion. Then I will come after you.
you want to get the end of the story? No, but
it's fair because you can't raise a red flag and then say what are the police?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Intervene on that.
For the fact they could have been killed before the police come.
George, anywhere in the world, people can get killed. That's not an issue. Anywhere in the world. Nowhere in the world, police everywhere.
Let's do this now. Let's do this. The reason why I stopped the story there is because we that particular portion was the one very important to
no, it's important to Nelson. We're talking about safety, security, encouraging our people to intervene. So when you stop it there, give a bad optics that people
in conclusion, but Raymond, you asked a question, let me answer your question. In conclusion, the police was able to intervene, and calm was restored in that particular community. The police intervened. Yeah. So
I can go on, and that's the beginning of my story. Look, nowhere in the world today anything good came on a silver platter to any group of people. When you have a problem as a group of people, you find a solution. And in social work, we say it's everybody's business. Everybody, all hand on deck. Everybody contribute. All well-meaning Liberians. If someone tell you, say, look, if you find drugs in your community, do not call the police. That person is anti-Liberian because they want to see your country burn. Look, when it comes to fighting for good, there are risks. But because you see the good, you put yourself in harm's way to achieve the good. That's what people are called heroes. That's what people are rewarded for doing good deeds. My brother said that Afghanistan was the highest producer of narcotic in the world. According to the United Nations 2023 December report, Nima comes Afghanistan, before we come to Peru, Mexico is among the 5 higher producers of narcotic in the world. And these countries, they didn't start today. They started before the 60s producing narcotic. In Mexico, they got gang with guns. They got an army, military regalia, and all of those weapons to control that area. The police can't even go there. So now Liberia, yeah, my people, you can't compare Mexico to Liberia when it comes to drugs. They got a whole place that they got army protecting, and they're producing. I think the government can't go there. When the government go there, they can fight war. Nothing like that happening in Liberia. So Liberia is safe to report drugs. And this is the thing we have upon ourselves as responsibility to correct the wrongs in our community. Not that to burn government because we come from one political party or on one sacrament tree. We're speaking to the issues, we're speaking to it because it affects all of us. Drugs do not pick and choose which political party. When Liberia is safe, it's safe for all of us. I never voted George Weah in 20-something. I served his government for 2 years. When I realized that in 2 years' time, things were going bad and not improving, I took my exit. Liberians, nothing gets fixed overnight. My brother said you can build a house in a month's time. I wonder what kind of house. Because I know from my engineering studies, for concrete to reach its maximum strength, it takes 27 to 28 days. So you cannot build and you build over and build over on a concrete, then you're not even building a house. So maybe if you're talking about fabricated home, that's a different thing. But when I was speaking, speaking in the context of Liberia, and I was speaking to Liberians. And we do not have that industry in Liberia to build prefabricated homes.
You know, how can an engineer be making point from the engineering perspective, then the other engineer laughing? You know, you guys, they are politics thing here. You're stop confusing us.
No, wait.
Engineers who got
I thought Rema was going to say, oh, JB started going after drug people. Yes,
no, on a serious note,
I didn't have the time to speak as much as you have. If I had 7 minutes, I was going to outline.
Yeah, but
I didn't get 7 minutes.
You
spoke for 7 minutes. If I had 7 minutes, I was going to outline the significant difference this government has done in the fight of drugs and narcotics in our country that no government has done. And you talk here, you criticize the representative having legislative project as corruption. And I can speak to legislative project that Darius DeLone used his 30,000 to build a home for the fight against drugs. And you assuming because the government gave legislators
Darius DeLone used 30,000 to build out there. You know how much Darius DeLone spent over there?
I said where he 30,000 went.
Stop that kind of thing, man. Stop
man,
it.
I'm speaking, give me a chance and protect me.
Your time finished.
Hold on now, hold on. No. I'm on the floor talking. I said he used his 30,000 to legislative
But man, if you
project.
don't know something, don't come and mislead people. Anthony will not be here. You fly with that.
Didn't Darius DeLone announce to the public that he was using his 30,000 for legislative project? The legislative project, legislative project don't mean corruption. Are you trying to deceive the Liberians?
Remember, that is just one lawmaker that used his 30,000 to do something in the interest of the country.
So have you done an investigation of what lawmakers done? No, this is the thing we do to our country to an extent. We do not have the information. We build a perception and we run with it and call it fights.
So you justify
this is my point.
Gave you $11 to lawmaker.
Let us be honest with discourse. When we're talking about
Okay,
corruption, it should be
so
corruption.
guys,
But when the budget allows for legislators to take 100,000 each for legislative project, we should not call it corruption. That's
thank you. Thank you,
misinformation.
Raymond.
That's
Thank you,
disinformation.
Raymond.
That's
That's a
corrupt
lie.
behavior. How you call it?
That's a lie.
No,
We can have an
guys,
opinion about it, but we
use
cannot call it corruption. That's a lie. We can't be lying to our people because we got an opportunity
Corruption is something. It's not. It's
and
not
lie to
improved.
them.
It's not.
okay, so guys, I'm sorry.
We
I
didn't call
have
it corruption,
to
but
mute everyone. I'm sorry, I have to mute everyone because we are out of time. And Emmy, we want you to take your 1 minute. Then we will take few calls from our folks out there.
Let's go to the line.
Okay.
Hey,
You want us to the
the
phone?
territory.
Okay, so now that we're going to the phone lines, you folks, you can call. Can we have? Can any of you make a line available for direct calls while we? Raymond?
267.
I told you before I can use mine if you don't mind. So
Yeah, put a phone. Put a
opportunity
number.
is always
You
there
know,
if I'm
you know.
here. So if you want it, you can use it.
Okay,
Remember,
so
didn't get a number and put it up.
No, he have my number. He know I sent it to him before he has it. So I'm gonna reminding him. I made that thing available to him. So if he wants it, he can put it.
So,
you know,
Nelson, are
it's
both
it's
American and
interesting.
Labrador?
Nothing, I got a caller here.
Emmy, go ahead with your caller.
I don't know, but just go ahead, Thomas.
Thomas Kuman.
Thank you. My name is Thomas Kuman. I'm calling
I
from
know.
Oakland. I like few other panelists that made it the points about helping the government. I think the reason why, like someone was saying, the reason why you will take up 2 hours plus to come on the show is to help the government, but not to criticize. Some of you criticize too much, like George. George, the government comes up with a policy. You come, you criticize the policy in a way that when I help. All you need to do is to provide the ways to change. But if you say that it can work, the citizens have a major part to play in every other aspect. Even the station can be used. And it's all over. People will channel some of the information to the station. To some of you who are overseas, and you can do the up into this place.
Thank you.
But I don't criticize.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Thomas. I'm trying to get the numbers up
Yeah, just put
here.
the 2 numbers. Anybody call, you put it on hold. Other person answer. I think it would be better.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get calls from studio as well.
Yeah, but I know what. Yeah. The student people won't call it. Like, people listen to it, they won't call.
There's some adjustment I need to make here, but it's kind of difficult. So let me put the.
You get
the
lost, but you
numbers.
not make it to there.
Yeah, I just should have done that earlier. That's why. Let me see.
I know that like people won't participate.
Okay. So Raymond, you say I should put your number up, right?
Yeah, I don't mind whenever because I got a mic, to be clear. But email number have been used before, so just keep reminding people who got email number to call.
Emmy, the last time Emmy used a number, she encountered serious issue and she had to answer a lot of questions. So because of that,
It's tough enough to handle that. Don't worry about our sister.
Nancy, she informed the city. She told me, huh?
Look at that.
Emmy,
Oh wow. She said, "What you said?"
Yeah, that's
My
it.
own boss.
Yeah, that's the number.
Okay, so yeah, let me just try to get the number. Wow.
Well, you want me to text it to you? I can text it to you right now.
Okay, so can you read it in the private chat? Kindly read it in the private chat. Yeah.
I mean, who up to next thing will be better. Like anyone call,
They job billing started way back.
In the meantime, let's take this person. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm calling from Fargo, North Dakota. My name is Teddy Tail Lion Malcolm.
Okay.
I've been following the show. Very interesting show. Actually, on your platform, what's it look at our ribbon? You just say like you're working in President Ria's government, in the past government there. People just have hate for President Ria and CDC, so they will just be, bias on a very great platform like that. As Brother Anthony said, those are people they try to justify the inclusion on these platforms to push the best message for Liberia. Liberia is trending. We look, just watch the drugs log movies. Eh? What the DA boss said, you put the cities at risk. You can to be on this vigilante stuff, but not to come up brother and just say it like that. You put the citizen at risk. It's not something to debate every little topic to educate the people about. Y'all want to take it as a debate because of CDC and other party. But however, people may think that CDC will not come back. CDC will come back. Nobody can stop CDC. It's the masses party. But the fact is that Liberia is drowning on this noble platform, even of Roberto Spoon. He himself, you should realize that the United Party government have betrayed the Liberian people, the king with lies. Mobile, you on that platform being very deceptive. And these things making us believe that some of these guys that they pay United Party, I don't say that you're paying certain fee of you guys to perpetrate the wrong message, their deceptive message in Iran. So we are suspending people that mobile and ribbon. Because things that is going to agree with, they're being very, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Deceptive.
Thank you. Thank
And
you
that's
very
wrong.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the numbers are up. The numbers are up. I will see if we can get some calls from studio. If not, you can call the numbers up here as well. And then you will be live on the show. Let's see if we can take another person from here. Hello, you're live. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. No, this one is not coming through. Wow. There seem to be some issues here. Yeah, so
I got a caller here.
You have a caller there, Raymond?
Yeah. Caller, how are you? Go ahead, make your point, your name and where you calling from.
I'm good, Raymond. My name is William. I call from Fargo, North Dakota.
Go ahead, make your point.
Lol, I want to tell you something. This is like you guys' platform is for place where some people just come to make themselves popular. I guess that's why I know this. Like people like Anthony, what Anthony get to prove or what he get to talk? Even the Joyce men are over there. Where did he get to talk?
Hello.
Let's try to find solution to something. Election time over. When CDC try to come back, they will not come back just now. Let them not worry on that. Let them just keep that aside. Let's wait and find a solution to what happening to our country right now. What happening? We're not happy of it. What's spreading drugs business? It's not an easy thing. For somebody that can be sitting there, you can be lying to people, yelling around there. So you shouting, you talking something nice. You're not talking something good. Shouting at me, anything, bro. You have to make the sense. Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you for making your point. Have a good night.
So I think we Anthony or George need to have one number or two because Raymond wanna make a call to.
But even if we call it, still blast at them.
But yeah, two persons go ahead and blast out. Anthony and Raymond and somebody else too.
No, one person, not two persons.
When you look in the comment section, 85% of the people are United people.
Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from?
My name is Justin. I'm calling from Germany.
Okay, let's hear you.
The first thing to get rid of drug issue in Liberia, the DA itself, they have a lot of people that are working for the DA have to get those in Liberia. To get away drugs in Liberia, you got to fight the system, the security sector, you got to fight it for sure, bro.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take another person here. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hey,
Tommy Jr.
Yes, Tommy Jr. Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, man. Yo, sorry joined the show late tonight, so I missed a lot of the discussion. But I figure that you guys are talking about the drug issue in Liberia, so
Yeah.
I called in to try to contribute. First of all, good evening to all of you guys on the panel. Another great discussion from where I cut, and good evening to our sister Amy. Nelson, I've really been pushing for the government to really include the education department as well as all education ministry as well as community stakeholders into this substance abuse fight. I have to commend the government though, because they have been making a lot of progress. I did see that the president did include the education ministry into one of the task force, so I have to give him credit for that. I think we need to do more. I think we need more community members a part of this. We need stakeholders. We need nonprofit people. We need everybody to be a part of this. I think in Liberia, we focus mainly on the punitive side of things, the law enforcement side of things. Nothing wrong with that. But we need more education. Listen, the next generation of substance abusers have already been born. I was watching a video of the DEA assistant boss, Fadiga, and he went somewhere and he was talking to this lady, and she said that she was on drugs and she had a baby. Now, so we know that if a mother is substance and she is pregnant, once that baby is born, that baby has a higher chance of becoming addicted to substance. So the next generation of substance abusers are being born every single day. And so I'm going to just commend the government to keep doing a good job, keep working at it, keep educating people about the danger of substance abuse, and all of us need to do our part. Thank you again, and great discussion tonight. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Tommy Jr.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot
Tommy.
for your
Thank you, Tommy.
contribution. And so in case you have a call from your end, you can let us know, Amy and Raymond. So the first number is Amy's number, the second number is
Why are you
Raymond's
other
number. So
you just leave the number let it go.
You may Anthony go to the comment section or to go beg the people to start insulting.
okay, so guys, I think we'll have to hold on.
Amen, begging the people.
Wrap up from here, and we'll have to wrap up from here. We can come back
Yes.
now to do our
closing.
Yeah, to do our closing. Raymond, you have a call from there? Okay. So yes, let's do our closing, and then we'll start with Charles, because I see George wants to come in very fast. It means that he has a motive. He has a motive.
Let him write a point now.
So, let's start with you, Charles, and then we'll take George, then we'll take Raymond, and then we'll go around the table.
Anthony, please come back and close when you finish making flour.
Yeah, it was.
All your comment section begin flower with the people with the comment.
It was nice being here again to discuss Liberia, and to my brother Anthony. My man, if you want to be in a public space, you have to accept some things. Yeah, you accept insults and other stuff that people will throw at you. It's almost like you are a trash can. And so with that, I just want to caution you that don't pay any mind to statements from people. That's their opinion anyways. To the issue, Nelson, the gentleman I called from Germany, he just validated my point that we need trusted officers. He said something, and I don't know whether we all grabbed the concept. He said even the people that go do the raiding, they have their own ghettos, which means they are conniving with those drugs perpetrators and taking it and building their own cycle and selling it out to our children. That alone tells us that they are not trusted. And those kind of people need to be prosecuted for that. Because you take oath. You take oath to protect and defend our country. In the back, You starving us, you need to go to jail for that. And there's no excuse to that. And so when I said we need trusted officers, that's where I was coming from. And so again, today's just issue to all of our people following us, whether by radio, YouTube, or Facebook. It is serious. That's something that at this point we shouldn't shift blame. It shouldn't be about this government or that government or this other government. Just issues started in our country during early Johnson Sirleaf time, and nobody can argue that. George Weah time, we experienced drugs, and this government we experiencing drugs. And at this point, the solution is what we should be discussing instead of shifting blame. And so I remain and I hold my opinion very strong that at this point, there's no need of shifting blame, is to just discuss the solution. How can we stop or eradicate the issue of drugs in our democracy? It's killing our people. It's killing the fabric of our country. It's killing what we call future generation of our country. What can we do now to put an end to it? That's the question. Thank you, and God bless Liberia.
Thank you. So let's take George, then we'll
Yes.
take Raymond.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Look, in no way will I sit here and say no one should report a crime to police. That is besides the truth. I did not say that. There's no way I would not want crimes to be reported. But if our DA has to come up and say, report drugs, people who selling drugs in your community. And what I said was actually vindicated here by Nelson himself, the story he told. Now, these people will attack you because that's their livelihood. Some of them don't work. That's what they do. So you cannot attack someone's livelihood and expect them to sit down supinely. It will not happen. They will fight back. So we're not going to sit here and you to what people say in the comment section and try to shift our views towards their views so that we are praised. We'll not do that because we are people who can say what we think. I might be wrong, but I will say what I think, and that's what I am. And the reason why I laughed when my brother Zize was talking, Zize is a smart guy, but he uses the facts and then bend them to please his desired outcome. Look, we understand, Zize, in 28 days of reinforced concrete kills completely. But after 24 hours or 48 hours, you can remove forms around it and allow access. In 7 days, you can allow vehicle to even drive on top of them, right? In 28 days is a complete process of being killed. So you cannot say somebody cannot build a house in a month time and you think the reason is because the concrete will not kill. You can do anything with concrete. Once you can allow a car, vehicular access on the concrete, that means the concrete is ready to be used. Not the process is not yet completed yet, but it is okay to use. So don't say that. You'll be wrong everywhere because this is politics. We can say anything we want to say here, but I don't think that's the right thing to say. The last thing I want to say is that as Liberians, there's no reason why we sit here and want to bomb off a government. What some of us would do here is to bomb off people who lied to the Liberian people, who did not have a clue what they were going to do, but who lied and said they had all the solutions and come and be baffled by even the problem they meet and don't even know where to start. You build police booths. Go check to SKD Boulevard Junction. The police booth, what is there? They attended our OA. They could not even find a car that hit and took it from the road. And you people think you have ideas. This is laughable. And we'll talk then and say, you're just here to criticize. I'm not here to criticize, but I will tell you exactly who you are. You are a liar. You lie to the Liberian. You call the Liberian people to bring you to power. And here you are. You're doing nothing that can even affect even you yourself. The only thing we see in Moreira that is different is different people are riding the big cars. But the livelihood of the Liberian people is still deplorable and it's even going backwards. They are crying.
Thank you.
But guess what? The time will come that they will come out and cry in front of you. They are crying in the dark now, but the time will reach that you see yourself. Thank you. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you for your
Nice to
information.
see that.
Well,
George, I
Raymond,
agree with your
Panelist,
technical
Anthony.
information, but I want to ask you, giving critical path analysis, is it attainable to build a house from foundation to roof in Liberia in a month's time?
Yes, it is possible.
No, it's not possible.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Charles, are you an engineer too? Or you won't be
Leave
part of
it,
it?
What
man,
kind of
leave it,
house
man.
we talking about,
Leave
my
it.
man? You specify
So
house.
if you want us to discuss that, I'm not.
Raymond,
as a
just
whole.
just conclude and get your opinion
No,
on the
Hold on
matter of the
now.
subject.
Our people listening to you, right? We're not going to speak
Just
on
one
that.
floor.
I said a house.
No overhead.
A house. A house means a lot of construction activity. And there's something that you in construction we call critical path analysis. If you're able to do that, it's not attainable to build in a house in Liberia. I'm not talking about prefabricated homes. That's not a construction methodology we have in Liberia. In other places, it's possible. In Liberia, I'm speaking to Liberians. I'm not speaking to everybody around the world doing construction. So I'm
Raymond.
speaking in context of the Liberian scenario. It's not
Raymond.
possible.
Raymond.
I don't think
Raymond,
the roof, but you can bring it to the
Raymond,
roof level.
in
Not the
Liberia,
roof.
I said a house means every component.
Anthony,
A house means every component. Electricity, paint, preparation.
Go to you.
There are things in construction you can't. One activity got to precede another, and that's what we call critical path analysis. You got to analyze what activity
Let's lead that one.
precedes
Let
another.
people talk. Let's lead that one.
Raymond, when you have money.
No, not money. I'm talking about critical path analysis. I'm not talking
Oh,
about
we discussing Liberia, right?
No,
Charles. Let's leave the shit. We go in the background. When we leave from here, we go in the background. I will tell you what George said is right. But you can lay, you know how much layer of blocks you can lay within a day's time in Liberia?
What George said is right.
Guys, let me say this.
If George is right that you can build a house,
man, we're not arguing this. When we leave from here, I will give you that. Do you understand what is called critical path analysis in construction? Charles.
Okay, so guys.
Do you understand critical path analysis? I'm asking you a question. Can you answer that question? Do you understand critical path analysis in construction?
Okay, yeah. But
you understand critical path?
Hold on.
I don't want you to spin. I'm asking you, do you understand critical path analysis?
Do you agree to George?
No, man, I'm asking you
a
question.
Do
you understand critical path analysis?
We're not discussing construction.
Do you agree with George?
No, I'm not going to answer you until you ask me.
So why do you want me to answer you then?
I'm speaking time. Do you understand critical path analysis?
Okay,
if you don't understand,
go in the comment section.
If you don't understand critical path analysis, you can't have this discussion.
Just agree with George that you can build a house in a one time.
You're not understanding what I'm saying, so you just thinking. Do you understand?
So what are you saying? Okay, so what are you saying? If you agree with George, then what are you saying? In short,
you didn't understand what I said.
Man, let's move on, guys. Let's move on.
How much time Raymond has to close?
You listen to me. You keep asking me not to. You disrupting me now, Charles. That's my time to speak. So it's a privilege for you to ask me a question. So you got to give me the opportunity to answer your question. In construction, George said it takes.
Raymond, you have 30 seconds now.
It takes 24 hours for concrete to settle. That was fight. He said it takes 7 days to take a foam from a concrete and for a car to move on it. That's a fight. But what I said, it takes 27 to 28 days for it to reach maximum strength was also a fight. And there's something called critical path analysis in construction that you do not understand. So you can't have this debate with me. But afterwards, we'll go into in the backstage and I will explain it to you so you can understand. I'm speaking based on facts. I'm not speaking based on assumptions. So let me go to my point.
Y'all lead the public West, man. Let's continue our show.
Let me go to my point.
Can I ask a question?
No.
No, you can't ask a question.
I'm not going to detain.
Let's
I told you we'll go back into the backstage and I can make it clear for you. The issues about drugs in Liberia is a major thing and we're going to require every individual Liberian who's well-meaning. And if that's going to be done, we got to get involved. We can't put the responsibility solely on the government. The government is the people and the people is the government. What we have that we call a government, appointed people are called leadership. Who are they leading? They're leading Liberians. So for transformation to take place in our country, it's going to take every well-meaning Liberian to get involved. And most of us now need to put actions to words. All we think we're good for is to criticize, be naysayers, throw blame around. But when it comes to the solution, we stand away. No. The community belongs to the people. The government belongs to the people. Liberia belongs to all Liberians. For Liberia to get better, all Liberians need to get involved. The least any Liberian can do is to inform the police and law enforcement on happenings in our country to help them to go. From Nelson's story, when they informed law enforcement officers, they moved in and they arrested the situation. And that is the story. That's the conclusion of the story. And my brother said drugs issue began during Ellen Johnson Sirleaf tenure. No, that's not true. Drugs as we know it in Liberia began during Charles Taylor tenure. All the warring factions in Liberia used narcotic substances to fight the war. The warring factions were giving it to their soldiers as a ration. A lot of people that you see addicted to narcotic substances today began during the war. And it continued during Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, but it's escalated during George Weah. That's the epic period of our drug narcotic substance in Liberia. During the 6 years of George Weah, that's when it got to this extent. I'm not saying during Ellen time we never saw it. Even during Charles Taylor time, there were people who were on drugs. I had a cousin who I saw the effect of drugs during Charles Taylor time, who was a soldier. Because he couldn't get it, I saw the effect on him. We thought he was going to die. He survived it, so I know it. But what we're going to do, that's not the story. The story is to change this narrative. And it's going to take all of us. The police number, the 911 number at the police station or any places is not a number that you can read the number that the person that died your number. You cannot read it. Since doing Ellen Johnson Sirleaf time, every security apparatus the world over do not have this digital screen to see your number when you call in. You got to give your number to them.
Thank you.
It's the information that they take, and we know that for a fact because a lot of us follow these things. So to come here on the radio and tell our people that the police need to do this, do that, these are already the things that are happening. That's how things are done. So let's encourage our people to call the police, call DEA. You're not calling cell phone. You're calling on an analog number. And that analog number, nobody can read the number they're calling. Nobody can see where it's coming from. That's the security system all security people put in place so that people cannot be picked up for giving information or intelligence information to security.
So we want to hold you there, Raymond.
Anthony down.
My people, Raymond, get you 911. I challenge any one of you right now in Liberia. If you dial 911 on your phone, that number does not work.
No, it works.
It does not work.
That's the lies that people love to come on this public.
I say y'all dying now. The way I'm
That's
on
a
it.
lie.
How do you know?
The way I'm
you
on
dial
it.
number when nothing happening? You that dial number?
The only thing they
Y'all
can say
please
is
dial
answer
911 from your phone.
the things
But
that
I
people
don't
love
know
to come on the platform is to say anything that is not
No, guys, let's do this. Let's
Nobody gave you the chance to talk.
Stop
it's Anthony's turn. Raymond, it's Anthony's turn.
Anthony's turn.
So Anthony, I'm going to meet you a bit. Let me provide this information.
Clarity. Yeah.
I have dialed 911 before and it worked. Now, but aside from the 911, they have the numbers provided per the zone you find yourself in. Like for the belt I find myself in, there's a 088 or 077 or blah 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 that you can dial as well and will go through. But the 911 is the
general.
It's the general number, and so sometimes you call that number.
It does work.
Nothing for the sake of this show. Can you perform that act now?
For what?
Anthony,
why would he go now, Anthony?
No, because I said it doesn't work. He said it works. So let's put it to rest.
No, Anthony,
he has died it before, Anthony.
Nobody got to prove it to you. The Liberian people can verify for
Raymond, stop.
Anthony, we're not set here for you to misinform our people about security issues.
Raymond,
Raymond,
in all
No,
fairness,
Natalie cannot
in all
do
fairness,
this.
Let me give a clarity, right? Nelson, clarity.
No,
Raymond,
Charles, you finna closing. Yeah,
stop
do a closing.
Yeah,
Yeah, start
clarity,
closing.
No,
clarity.
stop
Nelson, we
interrupting.
can't allow this to
Raymond
I,
slide.
I
will
have
check the
Now, a
clarity.
lot of
man.
people
Raymond, chill.
No, you
Chill,
need to
Raymond.
stop interrupting.
But
If you're in Liberia right
nothing
now, you have
correcting him,
Cellcom
Raymond.
or
Let
you
him
have
close.
Lone Star MTN. Please dial 911. You don't have to have credit in your phone. As long as your SIM card is in your phone and it's charged, you have battery in your phone is charged, you should be able to dial 911. Please dial 911 on your phone, and you should have a police operator answering the phone.
Okay, so let me say something. I understand exactly where you're coming from. But again, as you know, 911 is an emergency number.
Yes.
It's not a number you call when you want fact check something. No. It's not a research number. All right? So
we want to make sure that the emergency number functional.
No, as a media person, I will not do that. No, Anthony,
No,
as a media
even in
person,
America right
I
now,
will
I
not
can dial
do that.
911. They'll ask me, is it an emergency? Or I'll say, no, it's not an emergency. It's by error. They'll say, okay, fine.
But Anthony, he just told you that he had dialed it before.
That before, myself, we said that.
If you don't have an emergency, you do not do it.
So,
the police will not encourage that.
just
That's not how it works.
Listen, man, I'm not dying 911 for America.
But Nelson, a point.
So listen, let me say this to you. You don't fight me.
Yeah.
If they put 911 on the police vehicle or on the police book, it should be functional. That's my point. It should be working number. Because if somebody dies, somebody have an emergency,
Anthony,
that number has to be working.
Anthony, I am saying
that was then. I want recent thing. That was then. It should work any day, anytime.
Do not come here with an objective to misinform our people.
Nobody misinform anything.
That's what you're doing. After you bring
please,
you still sticking to your
an emergency number is supposed to work at all times. Not someday it work, someday it's not supposed to be LEC.
Yeah, good.
It's not supposed to be LEC because they may not want to talk. Interrupting.
We are all muted now, and we're giving you your time to go ahead. And as you're making your point, let me state again that I will not dial 911 because I don't have any emergency at this point. So, Anthony, you have to go make your point, sir.
Again, we will put it to test. I'll be in Liberia very soon, and I'll dial 911 multiple times. But here's the thing, folks. Raymond came here on national radio and said the legislative engagement project in the national budget under Joseph Numa Boaka. It is not corruption. Remember, it was 30,000 under George Weah, and we make noise about it. It's that same money, folks. We're looking for money to fight drugs. The DEA acting boss begging for pickup truck, begging. But this administration signed $11.8 million United States dollars to our lawmaker. That's not a salary. That's just extra thing for them to get on. Now, under the Constitution of Liberia, the cardinal functions of lawmaker is to make law, is to provide representation of the people, and is to provide oversight. That's the cardinal function. Apart from other things that they do, do committee room, article, senator, do confirmation, all of that. Nothing under our project that lawmaker should undertake a project. If a lawmaker undertake a project, it should be the lawmaker's own personal money, his own personal gesture. In other words, an humanitarian gesture. Under no circumstances that the president of the Republic of Liberia will go in cahoots with lawmakers and allow himself, because the national budget originates from the executive branch of the government. The executive branch runs the day-to-day activity of the nation. And so the budget does not come from our lawmaker. The legislature also have their own budget of the legislature. It is not the national budget. It's a budget of the legislature. That budget is completely separate from the national budget. Folks, you get me out very clear. Joseph Numa Boaka has given the fattiest cow to our lawmaker. Yake Koluba will receive $100,000. Representative Sam Foko will receive $100,000. Senator Amara Kone will receive $150,000 United States dollars. Senator Darius DeLong will receive $150,000. Senator Sir Joseph will receive $150,000. Folks, in a sum of $11,800,000 and change. If this act is not corruption, help me understand what constitutional provisions that states that the president can agree with lawmaker and call it legislative engagement. When that money is supposed to be given to the counties, and the county decide which project they want to undertake. If the lawmaker who's supposed to provide oversight responsibility on government functionality, who then provide oversight over those lawmakers with that money? You know one good thing you don't do? You don't give the oil to the cat to keep it. And that's what this administration did. If you don't find problem with this, there is an act of corruption. Does not mean you must go steal money. In political arena, this is how they do things. You give me this, I give you that. In the Latin word, it's called quid pro quo. That is the political Latin terminology for that kind of thing. Jose Newman Buaka, a veteran, a statesman, a doyen of the Liberian political cycle, and a well-decorated government official, agreed to a kind of behavior like this. No president in the Republic of Liberia has ever given lawmaker this kind of amount when the nation has competing priorities. This is the reason why he needs to be called out. That's an act of corruption.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me do my closing. Thank you. Thank you to all the viewers. The subject on the discussion, if people don't have no idea on it, it was shift. And our brother just did, but we're not going to that. But I will discuss the just issue. Look, we are on the same page when it comes to drugs. We understand how drugs is affecting our nation, more especially our country. And let me say this. I see some of my friends want to compare Mexico, other countries that are like when it comes to drugs. You cannot. And don't never ever mention Mexico or any other country, more especially when it comes to Mexico, Paraguay, those places and other stuff, when it comes to drugs issue, the trafficking of drugs. You can't compare it with Liberia. Liberia, all we need to do, and we're educating our people. And I would say this, nobody must say when you see something, don't say something. We are living a country, we are living in a 21st century where people use that gadget to communicate without nobody concerned, nobody know what's going on. I got to get on the center of the street to shout, say, oh, 911, somebody doing this, somebody doing that. No. You can see something, you got to say right away, you leave and get and call. And when you call, what you do, you make sure you explain your duty and let the DEA take action. We shouldn't come here to inform our people that, oh, when you call, the people will go after you. No. Black lie. Mexico drugs cartel is different. Mexico, the government, even where the people selling drugs, no surveillance living there. Majority of surveillance living there. Because you know what? 24 hours, the people who selling drugs battle with the government forces when it comes to arms. They exchange arms. They fight each other with arms. So we shouldn't make that comparison. Never. And we're talking about protection of people who blow whistle. Yes, I think when we want to discuss issues when pertaining to drugs, we should tell the Liberian people when you see something, say something. And secondly, let us all try to put hand and fight drugs. And that will petition our government to make sure and open rehabilitation center that will be able to transform people who waiting or people who they were forced, from the street and other things to be able to change.
I
But when I
want
come here,
petition GMBO.
we shouldn't come here, my man. You are talking, I never talk about me. Let me do my own talking. We shouldn't come here and tell the Liberian people say because this won't happen. No, the father of judge should be holistic. It shouldn't be political. Because we're looking at other people here, and small thing, they say, oh, but the poor come on it. Now, as we're speaking to you, as I'm speaking to you, the Joseph Gima Baka government, the 40 drugs, look at research how many drugs are arrested, how many people in prison. Go do your research. You shouldn't come in and no research. They talk because you want to talk. You know how many people in prison because of drugs? Recently, they arrest somebody from Bowalasa. You know what I'm passing now? They're in prison. And the drugs have been confiscated by the DA. And investigation is going on. So should they come here and say, doing drug time? Drugs were arrested, but nobody was arrested. Nobody. Show me one person. So when we're talking that thing, we shouldn't come and put politics in there. We should compare, because Georgia did it, or Joseph Baka. Joseph Baka, we are Liberian. Joseph Baka is the president of the Republic of Liberia. If he appoints somebody to work at the DEA, we all work and we all get ideas. So we shouldn't come here and say, because 911, when you call 911, not working, so because people may not even report drugs or crime. Nowhere in the world. I tell you this. I made my research, and sometimes I take my time to go to when it comes to investigation matter, to investigate. There is no way in the world. Police, I will say this: police, immigration, DEA, or whosoever can work without a consent or without information from the citizen. So you shouldn't come here and lie. You shouldn't come here and lie. Investigation done by the citizens themselves. They don't want to give the lead to investigator to carry on the investigation. So you shouldn't come here and lie to the Liberian people. So every Liberian on my voice on there, whether on radio, whether on Facebook, on YouTube, whatsoever gadget you're watching me from, I'm appealing to you. If you see something in your community pertaining drugs or crime, don't hesitate. Call the police, call the DEA, call the authorities, so that end of the day, let the people who carry on their act can be arrested and be brought to justice. Because end of the day, we all fighting for Liberia. We're not here to say, oh, another day will come and we'll say what we want to say. But when it comes to drugs matter, let everybody.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Every Liberians put their hands together and fight drugs. We shouldn't say because we have failed to fight drugs, so Joseph Imabaga will pray that Joseph Imabaga should fail to fight drugs. No. Let all put hands together and fight drugs, so our country can be drugs free, and all the people, all the consumer can be able to go to the rehab and be able to transform their life and be reproductive in the society, so they can be able to help and contribute. Thank you.
Any last time?
I know you interrupted a man by way your lives, George.
No. You know, but listen, George, look, that thing tell Liberian people you gotta take it back to don't do that.
Mama, you wasting our time, my man.
You gotta take it back, George.
I know your research paper fill the whole room, my man.
Girl, my man.
Yeah, but I think that's it goes. So we were there end the show. We all done.
So I'm just
you got anything to say?
But you speak here. What you can get?
Just say Grace. Just say Grace. Who can go?
Grace. But no, on a serious note, guys. I know I'm kind of confused tonight that we came here to talk about drugs and people talk about CDC coming back and CDC doing it and all that other this and that. This is where I get really frustrated with this whole party thing, and I guess we come here and preach on it every day, but it's just the way it is now. It's just gonna stay that way instead of talking about what affecting the Liberian people. We come here every time, who party coming by and who party not coming by, and who lie, who this, who that. I don't understand it. This is a serious issue, and I think all of you touched on it and said that it affects everybody. This drug issue does not see ANC, it doesn't see United Party or CDC. It affects, it can get anybody anytime. So I mean, there's supposed to be like when we're talking about things that are supposed to be politics free. And people coming here talking about JMB giving somebody 100,000. I mean, what does that have to do with telling our people about community policing and how they should report things that they see and all of that and be anonymous about it? And police, I think we should be telling them they should report, like all of you have already said, and then the police should also, after you read a community, in my opinion, I think you're supposed to be patrolling that community constantly. From what I heard nursing said tonight, I think they feel the people. If they're doing that, they're not going to have a lot of people reporting anything to see, because hearing from people like George and everybody else, they will go after you or something. They're scaring them. And for Nelson's story, that kind of validated what George said. Okay, so you can't just raid a plane, juggle it and raid, and then you just lead it off vulnerable and get away and no patrolling. If people has been in that place for months or years, like what they call Zimbabwe or whatever, go raid Zimbabwe. You think you just leave and then everybody like that will just turn our back off because they are raided? We don't have anywhere to go anyways, but we will stay away from that place. It's not possible. You have to keep a constant watch on that place in our community. I think that's what we need to be telling our police to also do. You want the community to be involved, but you also have to make them comfortable to be involved and not just go and raid and then turn your back on them and they leave them in danger and they stay in there fighting for their life or have to be calling for police. Some impose curfew on them by drug dealers or whatever. You can't do that. So yeah, saying something is good, but the police also have to make them feel comfortable. The DEA or whatever, everyone has to be something. Nobody will see you calling the police. That Mobile has already said. Don't listen to anybody coming here telling you don't say anything. You're the one living in that community. That's your community. You want it to be free of drugs. You want it to be, if you're comfortable living there with Zogo coming around and doing whatever and your children around, then sit there and don't say anything. These people are not everywhere. They are not God. They need help. Okay, so if you come here and somebody tell you don't do this, don't do that, when I come here, I like to drink hot tea with lemon to make my voice sharper, so it can go in people's soul, so they can hear me. Because it can already irritate people.
You may not doing to be focused now.
Yes, so they can hear me seriously, because this is serious. It's not just about you. Me coming here, I should have been running. My 10-year-old can be giving me a hard time all day. I can be running behind him, chasing him, do whatever. But I want to see Liberia better. I don't want to come to Liberia and have to be afraid of somebody want to check my bag to be able to go support that bad habits. That's why I come here, and when stuff that is going on, it become a good something for me to talk about, because that's what I want to see. I'm not telling you be totally free of drugs, but at least in certain places that you would expect, right? But not the entire Monrovia or the entire counties or whatever, that you would be afraid for your life, or you that live there 24/7, 365 days, 65, one of them, for you to be there and be afraid for your life. You have to do something. You have to, like when I came to Liberia, I seen people afraid to walk down red there, or somebody doing something to somebody, Zogo attacking someone, and everybody standing and allowing that to happen. What? You're the one who making these things to happen. Then the guy knife, these children can get weapon. What a weapon, knife and thing. So you got all those able-bodied men standing around watching a woman or another man to get attacked, and you standing around because you said children can get knife or children can something. None of y'all can jump on that fool and beat them down and make them to stop doing stuff like that, to get it, whatever knife or bottle they have, to take it from them and call the cops, but you're standing around. So what? What did you do right there? You embolden them to do these things. That's how they got so bold and they stay in the street broad daylight to do stuff like this. If you stand there and not call the cops and not call whatever DEA, you sort of call the cops or whatever, if you're not doing any of that, if people like my brother George come here and scare you, say don't do it, because when you do it, they will kill you, they will do that one, they will do that one. And you said that that's your community and that's your what? Your city, your town. And when you do it in one neighborhood, it extends to another, to another, to another, and the whole city what? Become bad and you can't do anything. So that's why you shouldn't listen to stuff like that. I'm not saying go and put yourself in danger and stand there and say, "Oh, I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to do that." No, nobody has to know. You can do it in your corner, and also, and I think the community should rise up to and tell the police how y'all want them to protect you. If y'all do these things, y'all got to voice it out. You can't expect us to do these things and we don't have any protection. You have to come out and say it as well. And I think that's what we're focusing on doing. No, don't come here. Everybody talk here for 10 minutes. Let me explain.
20 seconds.
Don't come here. So
20 seconds, Amy.
see, when y'all do the kind of thing, you can get me off my game. Yeah, I don't like that.
Please get back on your game.
Get on track, I mean.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's what I'm. And I feel bad about the story that Nelson just told us, and I hope the police can listen to us or listen to what Nelson said and do better next time. And just yes, Fatu, and do better next time. Make our people comfortable to be able to report these things, and I mean help make our city and towns and a neighborhood safer for our people and for us as we come home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmy. And I want to say thanks to everyone. It's been a great show. We look forward to being here again tomorrow. I don't know.
Nelson, did you mute me while I was talking?
No, we hear you.
Yes, you did.
No, we're hearing you.
You're good.
What my last word?
Go back, you listen to yourself.
No, you tell me. You say you heard me.
Baba, like that answer.
You say you heard me.
Baba, like that answer. After the show, you go play. You listen to what your last.
No, so don't do that next time. You can be funny on the show. I can sit and quiet, be looking at you. Don't.
So,
but Nelson,
again,
my sister Amy spoke very cleverly, but she said, "What does give you $150,000 to lawmaker?"
My man, we got to lawmaker issue. We
budget process go on. You get misinformation. You do not even know the budget process. You get misinformation people.
Guys,
who gave lawmaker?
Guys, I think at this point we want to end the show. We want to end the show. I want to say thank you.
Present the budget. Wait. Give to them.
It's been a long time, and for the first time in a show, I want to say thank you for being here tonight, Charles.
We will go on the back end.
No, Charles, stay for the back.
No, Charles, you're not going yet.
You got it in.
You will not.
Charles, you're not going yet.
Stay for the back.
So I want to say thanks to Anthony.
Someone can build a house in
Raymond. I want to say thanks to Anthony Gay for being here tonight as well. Always coming through with that. With that
the man I can leave the topic and go to the topic.
That's not true. That's not true, Baba.
But again, I appreciate
the way
Anthony.
I'm holding the government accountable. That's all.
Raymond, we appreciate you as well for always making correction. 1 minute, 1 second information. Thank you very much.
George, you refuse. You deny information.
George, we appreciate you as well. Baka government is not doing well. This government said it has solution. And sometimes when you hear George, you feel the anger in George, in his
people
the man will wear the public wear the government
loves Liberia. So, but okay, I'll end up with this. And Emmy, we appreciate you for being here as well. The most consistent female on set. Our co-moderator, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Though you can kind of late, and when you kind of late, you want to drag us to,
everybody arguing on this shit. I said one word. You say I can drag you. I heard you got something about me the other day.
She want people on a restriction.
Emmy can disrupt sometimes. But Mama, we appreciate you as well.
Really?
Let me say this. Anthony, someone just sent me a video, and this is where we ended the whole show. Pledging your loyalty to the CDC. So let me say this: did you ever pledge your loyalty?
No, I never pledged my loyalty to CDC.
The man going abroad to go.
Let me say this to you. Hey, I am a bona fide member of ANC. an executive officer of
The CDC like a sister party.
All right. I never pledged my loyalty to CDC.
The man associated himself right now as speaking with CDC. The
No.
man protest along with
We
CDC.
were on hold on. We were on focus on Liberia. And they said to balance the show, can anybody represent CDC in these circumstances?
And he said
what
yes.
If what? So I said, okay, for the purpose of this show.
Nothing that call it show right away. That call it off. The man already accept.
Can you listen?
No.
I was about to finish.
I
was just about to finish.
But wait. Hold on.
Because they in political power, they have an edge to win this election if they do X, Y, and Z. That was the point that I made, and they claim that Anthony so is set to CDC.
But what's the wrong if Anthony is a CDC?
Not wrong, but whatever.
There's
something called a deductive theory.
Hold on a bit, guys.
The deductive theory.
You know,
Anthony is a
Charles on the other hand, is supporting.
I know,
the
that's coming always that will create problem.
Charles, your mobile. Mobile said you're a Syrian, but I don't know why you still holding back for your identity.
But Nelson, you know the internet can lie, right? Go on Baller's room, type Anthony Gay video. Go on Baller's room and type Anthony Gay video.
Okay.
You will go
guys,
as far back
up.
as 2016 when Facebook Live first started. You'll see all of my video for 6 consecutive years. You'll see that.
We want to say
Anthony, you won't be mistaken. In the CDC, we got engineers and we got a network engineer as well. So come on, bro, man.
Cindy is currently
your campaign game is not strong enough.
Cindy is currently in Philadelphia.
Watch it.
Cindy is currently in Philadelphia
Oh my goodness.
Cindy is currently in Philadelphia with. Cindy is currently in Philadelphia Cindy is currently in Philadelphia.
You know, people I want Cindy is currently in Philadelphia.
I know the radio people are listening to radio.
I know.
Keep grabbing.
So, but no, there's the point I'm trying to make, right? There's the point I'm trying to make. You see the reason why Francis can be angry, right? Francis drove over 4 hours to go and see Cindy just for them to eat dry rice. As we speak, the two gentlemen are in the restaurant right now eating dry rice. You know, no, I can't put a photo up. Let me leave.
I put it up.
Now I want to say thanks to everyone for being here. It's been a great show. And
I will not believe that story.
Good night, everyone.
Won't believe that story.